in silence. Anticipation to see what. Oh, goodness! That ball have a family!
Welcome back to High Socks. This is episode 6 of High Socks. High Socks, low IQ. High Socks. Welcome back, everybody. This is John, Craigbot / Ben, and my name is Mitch. We are in week 6 of Reds baseball. How you guys doing? You went to the game tonight.
Oh, did we ever?
Good win.
First game of the season to go to the game, get out to GABP. Perfect weather for it. Ben, you shot me a little message last night. And you said, hey, I got an idea. How about we mosey on down?
Is there a better idea?
I gotta say, it's probably up there in terms of good ideas. And
Yeah,
it was.
so it's gonna be a nice sunny day. Hadn't been to the ballpark in many months. It was fun.
Yeah.
Fun time. Aside from a couple of things, but
yeah, we'll get to it. But I mean, going into it, it was a 6:40 game. Probably like what, mid-70s at first pitch.
not a cloud in the sky.
No, it was perfect, and spirits were high too. You know, as high as the sun was in the sky, spirits were just as high.
They were.
Yeah, good game to go to. Too with the Cardinals. I feel like it was a decent turnout. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. I had like 20K maybe.
It seemed like a lot going into it. We thought like, oh man, we're gonna have to, maybe actually buy some seats.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Like we got down like to the main entrance and it was like packed with people. Like there was so many people in front. Like I was thinking there was like a bobblehead giveaway or something, but
Mhm.
yeah, there really wasn't that many people, as it's usually is expected for a Monday night.
Yeah.
Did you watch
Yeah. Did you watch the game today?
Yeah, I watched the game. Martinez struggled a little bit in the first inning, it looked like, but then it seemed like the Reds kind of just not dominated the game, but seemed like they played well enough and were consistent enough at the plate to win the game.
Yeah.
They were in control pretty much the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, my read was that like, yeah, it wasn't a dominant win, but it never felt like it was getting out of hands. And whenever base runners started piling up for the Cardinals, we would turn a double play, get out of the inning pretty much unscathed. I think Martinez did a serviceable job. I mean, he gave up one run, and you could argue that I don't know if it was ruled an error. I don't know if it was really a catchable ball. It got lost in the sun by
It had to have been an error.
It was. I don't think that's considered an error. I'll have to check the box score again, but they were saying on the broadcast, like pretty much right when the game started, they were talking about how the sun is a big issue for Gavin Lux, and like they were having a conversation about it, Barry Larkin and John Sadak, right before that ball was hit to Gavin Lux, and as it was in the air, he just completely lost it. So
was he wearing sunglasses?
Yeah, I think he was, but
Okay.
even still, when it's directly in your eyes, I guess it's hard to see, especially with the ball. If it's anything like a line drive hit on the line, it's going to be tough to see with the setting sun. So, yeah, I don't know. Not a big deal, but I mean, Martinez pitched well, and it seemed like the offense was consistent. The game was always firmly in hand. The Cardinals are 2-12 on road games this year. 2-12. They've won 2 games on the road this year out of 14. So they're pretty bad. So it's nice to see the Reds kind of handle business for the first game of the series. You always want to beat a division rival, even if they suck. And that kind of from the road trip to the homestand now, we're on a 5-game winning streak, which is really positive. And I don't want to hear it again. Like I know people will say, the Rockies, the Cardinals. But I mean, it's all about the W's and L's. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Got that right.
Yeah. And
Thanks,
I
Big
mean,
Bot.
stand help performances by Gavin Lux went 3 for 4. That fourth at bat could have gone easily as a hit if the ball took a different bounce off that first base bag. But regardless, I mean, he was really hitting the ball, seeing the ball well. Trevino continues to support in the ninth hole there, and Ellie continues his hit streak to what is it, 12 games now?
Yeah,
So
I believe on base streak. I believe it is right.
I thought it
On
was a
base
hit
streak.
streak. Yeah. He kind of got his one hit out of the way and then did very little else besides some help in the field. But we get that average up. Keep going, hitting the
Mhm.
ball. It'll it feels like every time he gets up to bat, it's a 2 out inning at that point. So
Mhm.
like it feels like he can do very little. He doesn't really have opportunity to get a sack fly or anything like that. But
Mhm.
overall, offense was good. Besides, I think Hayes had a bad night, 0 for 4, and
Playing.
McLean continues to struggle, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But yeah, pretty satisfied with this performance.
And you said in the last pod, the last episode we did, you said that they have to be 3 games above 500 by the end of next week or the end of this week, which was Sunday, which is the end of Sunday. And by then we were, what were we, 2 games above or something like
Yeah,
that?
as of last night, and now we with this win, we are now 3 games above
Mhm.
500. So, kind of exactly where I would wanna be at this point realistically.
Mhm.
Um, but, before we move on, to what happened before today, this is a special occasion. We went out to a game. Mitch, you're in New York. You can't go to Reds games as often as you maybe would want to. I just kind of want to like bring you guys into the atmosphere, bring the listener into the atmosphere with us, with some recordings that we took on the road. Let's just hear a little bit of it if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Yeah. Hey, John here, reporting from High Sox. I'm here with Ben. Hey, Mitchie. We're here. Where are we at, Ben? Where are we? Right next to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about Ruth's Chris. You ever been there? Yeah, they have a very, very nice steak. Yeah, what do you get your steak at? What temperature? Sure. Yeah, the temperature.
Medium rare.
How done is it? So I feel like this was like a standard question. How do you take your steak? Maybe I
Oh,
said it
yeah.
wrong. Mitch, what do you think?
I don't think people really know what temperature they take their steak at. I think that the real question would be how do you cook your steak?
How do you prepare it?
Thank
How do
How
you
do
like it
you
prepared?
how do you what wellness do you like? The temperature thing would throw me off because I don't know off the top of my head the temperatures of like a rare or medium rare or whatever.
See,
Well, okay. Well, apologies to Ben and now the listener for having me said that.
Oh, so this is a test.
No, it wasn't a test, but I felt like it made sense in my head. I'm a medium man, especially when I get steak out, because they tend to undercook it. And
Mhm.
I've gotten a few, two rare steaks,
Really?
when I order medium rare. No, I
rare is
don't I don't I verging on the side of raw, like completely just raw in the middle, and like
you've heard of
not
blue,
enough.
right?
A blue steak?
Yeah.
I don't
Blue
want
steak.
that. I don't
Blue
want that
steak
at
is
all.
like below rare. Yeah.
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 I mean, I would prefer like a medium is good. I think I would go for like a medium burger, but if I'm getting a steak, probably medium rare,
Mm.
probably.
If I can expect the cooks to cook it right at where I want it, what you
Hmm.
you pull it off the grill at what 120, 125, let it rest,
No
get up
idea.
to about like 135. No,
Mm.
but it'll continue cooking
It
as it's
continues cooking once
resting.
you rest
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
pull it off like 10 degrees before where you want it. So if
Mm.
you get it right at that 135 after it's been resting, then fine. I'll order I'll get the medium rare. Okay.
What
Yeah.
what is Ruth Chris's Steakhouse?
You never
Do we
heard
know
of it?
that? Is that a
It's
well
a
known?
chain, like it's a little more upscale than Outback.
Ruth Chris. Oh, we got some in
Ruth's.
we got some in
Ruth's Chris.
Jersey.
Yeah,
Ruth
they're all
Chris.
around.
I can go to Hoboken, get me a Ruth's Chris steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say I've been, but it is right outside the stadium, across the street from the Yard House.
Okay, so did anything? Okay, so it's right down there by the banks. Did anything else special happen at the game that you want to tell the listeners about?
Well, let's continue. This is pre-game here. Let's get some more of our thoughts. Let's see if anything else interesting happens here.
Okay, I'm curious.
Okay, so if you don't get medium rare, then I'm not gonna sit at the table with you. I usually go for like a medium. I'm not sitting at the table with you. All right, well, we're reporting live here from the game. We're about an hour out from first pitch against these. Water. Yeah, I got a beer in one hand, and Ben's sipping on an ice cool water.
Yeah. I mean, what more could you want than a nice cold, refreshing beer before a game?
What was the brand?
That you got? You got a bottle of water.
What was the brand?
I think we talk about.
We were talking about this last week, and you said I don't ever go out and buy bottles of water, but here you are with a bottle of water.
I didn't buy the bottle of water.
No, so
John was getting a drink, and he sarcastically said, "Do you want me to get you a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, you buy me a water." Yeah. Meaning it's going to be free. Like water is usually free. Just give me a cup of water.
You should never expect that. Are you at the baseball? Are you in the stadium at this point?
No, we're still outside.
Oh.
And
yeah.
Yeah, and then I think John, you also assumed it was going to be free water because you're like, just get a water,
like a tap water.
Yeah. But she hands him a bottle of water, and I don't even know how much it costs, like $1. But
if you say like, give me a bottle of water, then yeah, you're gonna get a bottle of water. But you say it in a way of like, yeah, let me get a beer, and then can I just get a water? Like, it's low, you play it off like this is not a drink I want to pay for. This is just a water. It was not taken that way. I got a bottle of water. I don't remember the brand. Let's listen a little bit more. Let's see if we can get get an idea of this brand.
I feel like you're setting this up for something in this recording or something that you're about to tell me. There's some punchline that's coming up with all this.
This is just taking you, since you weren't at the game today, and the listeners, if they were or were not at the game, just into the atmosphere of what it's like to be outside.
Something
JBP
did happen that really ruffled my feathers, but
we'll get to that.
This is what was teased earlier. Okay,
we'll get to it. Okay,
all right.
Let's continue.
Okay.
You heard it here first. Niagara, not top of the tier.
Okay, so Niagara water.
No, that's bad.
That's bad water.
That's bad.
So we do finish our beverages, mosey on into the ballpark, and we proceed to watch the game, and it's great. And then looking back into our first episode, do you remember a conversation that we had about I believe it was our first episode, maybe it was our second, about a certain event that happens in every Reds home game?
Yeah.
The faithful Redzilla. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I got a recording of our moment there. Let's relive it because
oh my god,
this is a very important part of every Reds home game.
You hear that, folks? Redzilla is out. Updated music is playing right now, but it's still the same old Redzilla. What? Ben is not acknowledging this moment at all. Giving him the fingers. The double bird. It's away here soon. Yeah, it's not gonna do anything.
So at this point, by the way, I'm excited. I'm pumped. The music's playing. Ben, I'm trying to get Ben pumped up. Ben, how are you feeling at this moment?
Not happy. I've been there, done that with Redzilla. He fucking sucks.
I don't know if you could hear it, but I was trying to say that like Ben is deeply displeased. I mean, he is double flipping off Redzilla.
Yeah, I
He
never
is
got a ball before.
yeah. Well, anything could happen, Ben. That's the magic. So
Yeah.
you were a little uneasy. You didn't think that the ball was even going to come to us. But let's listen on and see what happens here.
Gonna get
We lost it.
I don't hear anything.
We lost the feed.
You lost. Oh,
We don't hear it. We don't hear it. We don't hear your. We hear you, but we don't hear the
that's crazy.
phone. Yeah.
I got a ball.
Yeah, suffice it to say.
Oh my god.
Ben,
So
do you have that ball with you right now?
No, my cats were playing with it. I don't know where it's.
wow. Wow. Wait.
All
So
that, all
walk
that.
us through how you got this
Hold
ball.
on.
Yeah, as Ben is getting the ball here. I'm recording this, and my attention. There it is. Look at that.
There it is.
Look at that.
Looks like a
And then
Pokeball.
as a little treat, here's the ball that I got a couple of years back. It's a
Oh.
little worn over the time, but still in pretty
Oh.
good shape here.
Oh my god,
Look
dude.
at that.
Fuck this shit. Fuck
I'll
this.
I'll
Dude.
mail one to you.
Have
What
you
is
have
this?
you have you changed your tune about Redzilla now that you've gotten a ball?
Fuck
Okay.
no. No, I despise Redzilla. I hope he blows a tire before he can even come out on the field.
Now this brings up to a point. I can try the recording one last time, skip ahead a little bit because there's one thing that I do want to share with the listeners. Okay,
Yeah.
you let me know if you can hear this.
Okay.
Oh, no, man.
So at this point, we have the ball.
Trust, this is yours. I already have one. There you go. That sounds pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. He said.
Redzilla is pretty cool, says Ben. Ball
well,
firmly in hand. He sees the lights, and I feel
Okay.
like Ben, you're putting on a face right now
okay.
because you don't want to change your mind on this.
It was just recency bias.
There you go. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. That's
It
smart.
happened just a scant few hours ago.
Well, I do want to say something about
Now
this.
that you do?
Yeah, I do want to say something about Redzilla real quick. If we're
Mhm.
getting back on the Redzilla thing, I want to talk about how so many people reached out on our video to talk about how they've had similar experiences with Redzilla. We really struck a nerve, I think, because a lot of people are pissed off about this guy. They don't like him. They think he's inconsistent. He's not launching balls correctly. And just the other day, I got another message on the post that I put on Reddit from somebody saying that there is a potential hazard at Great American Ballpark that everybody should watch out for. And here's what he said. Dude, I came back to let you know that I got the opportunity to see Redzilla on opening day, and he shot several balls into the smokestacks in center. So if by chance the stacks explode, we all know the culprit.
Wow. I
that's
mean,
pretty damning if you ask me. Not to mention, we've gotten some messages from some former employees of Redzilla who were his handlers, if you will, that say it was a disaster to work with that thing. A disaster. And they hated it. Anybody who came, we had two different employees talk to us about how much they hated working on that crew at Great American Ballpark. So,
I mean, listen, I'm not going to deny the feedback that we've gotten, especially from people who have been close to Redzilla. I think it is complete insanity that so many people have said, I have worked with Redzilla, and it is a terrible thing to be a part of. It's if you haven't seen, I think it's on TikTok, or on YouTube Shorts or whatever. You can read some of the comments that people have left, and it is almost unanimous.
Unanimous.
That the hatred for Redzilla. But I mean, I'm not gonna argue the case at this point. Um, I got a ball now. Ben has a ball, and Mitch, you're next. We need to get you a ball before they decommission this guy. This is a part of
Well,
Red's history.
I think we are kind of bringing on a firestorm of bad press on Redzilla right now, and I think it's getting to the front office. I think Nick Kroll is losing sleep as he thinks about this because I think he was the guy who originally signed him back in like 2018. So I think it's a matter of time. So I will have to visit the ballpark and see if I can maybe warm up to him and maybe get a freebie. And if I do, maybe my mind will be changed. But for now, fuck him. Piece of
Right.
shit.
Well, I
Smart
just
man.
hope you keep an open mind about it. Don't listen to Ben too much, and just decide on your own how you feel about Redzilla. Once you got a ball, once you are there, I gotta say the new music was really fun
Oh,
and exciting.
okay.
Uh, but,
Okay. By the way, I was gonna ask what's the song they play when Pagan comes out of the bullpen to close the game? Is there a song or something that they do?
uh, yeah, they still dim the lights.
They flash him. I saw that on TV. But I
Yeah,
think it's a commercial, but I was wondering if he had a song from the pen.
It's
there
something.
was,
I don't know what
yeah,
it is.
it wasn't anything that I recognized.
But is it consistent, do you think? Do you think it's the same song each time?
I would imagine that he chose whatever song is playing, but
Mhm,
what it
mhm.
is, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
Um, that leads us to the end of the game. Big win. Um, and there's a bit of a heated moment. I don't. It's not my place to talk about it though. Really.
Oh, what happened?
So like, all right, I'm excited about the win. It was a nice
Yeah.
day at the ballpark.
Great win.
Great win, yeah, like a close 3-1 victory, 5-game winning streak. I'm pumped. John's pumped. Like the whole ballpark is going bananas, honestly. All 15,000 of us. We had moved like down to the third base line, like to get some better seats. And
no.
the game was over, and we like walked past, where Sam LeCure and Jim Day are at. Brian Giesenslaw.
Brian Giesenslaw, Sam LeCure, and there was some other guy with them this time.
Oh, there was.
today.
Okay.
I think he's a Card. I think he mentioned he's a Cardinals guy, or something like that.
Well,
Okay.
we didn't stay long, and there's a reason why.
Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
so I'm excited. We're walking up the steps, and I see Sam LeCure like in his chair getting ready for the post-game show. I look at him. He looks at me. We meet eye to eye, and I like scream. I'm like, "Let's go, fucking go Reds!" Like right at him, and he like just doesn't even acknowledge me. Like just looks at me eye to eye. We both met, and he just
Wow.
like I don't exist.
Wow.
Like I wanted to celebrate with him. I just wanted like let's go, Houday Reds. But no.
Oh my god.
So I'm fucking pissed. Like I wanted to go like bang on the tables, be with everyone. And fucking Sam LeCure doesn't even acknowledge my existence. Like what is
Wow.
this?
Yeah.
I need to talk to him next time. We were trying I'm trying loose term to get this ball signed. John wanted to see if Sam LeCure would sign it. We saw
The
him as we were
Redzilla
going-
ball.
Yeah. We saw him briefly when we were going down to our seats. But yeah, Sam LeCure is on my shit list right now.
Jeez, I'm sorry that happened. And look at this. I actually, in anticipation for seeing you guys, I filmed my TV to see if I could catch you. And this is what I had. Me and Federica were watching the game at the end. And so they're going around the table and I'm filming And I'm like, yeah, John and Ben should be around here. And she's like, I think I saw them on the left-hand side. And I was like, okay, so they're coming around and they're doing the last corner right here. And then I thought I was about to see you guys because she said she saw you in the wide shot. And then guess what happens? Look at this. This dude. And then look at this. They go to this little fucking baby, dude. This little damn baby. That baby has no idea what's going on. That baby has no clue. That was the most absent baby I've ever seen in my life.
It's funny that you mentioned that because there were like almost an astounding amount of babies at this game. There was a segment in between innings where everyone's holding up a baby. There's so many babies. It was
it bring your baby to the game night? Maybe that's why I was so bad.
It was bark in the park, but bring your baby.
It was
your pants night.
Piss your diaper night.
Oh my
BYOB, bring your own bottle night. It was a lot. It was like everyone's babysitter just quit out on them before the big game. I mean, this is a big game. It's Cardinals game at home, division rivalry.
Real barn burner.
Yeah, man.
Fuck Sam LeCure.
Yeah. Sorry that night ended on a bit of a sour note there. I'm hoping that, if Sam LeCure hears this, if maybe our audience helps us spread the word and share this video with him.
Get him on the pod.
We can make it right. Yeah. If it's a conversation, maybe we can get him to... yeah, let's get Sam LeCure on here. Maybe he can sign one of our balls from Redzilla. Let's make it right. I don't want to leave this as it is. I don't want this to be the end of our story. Let's make it.
He's supposed to be like the cheerleader for the Reds.
John, you had a good story with Sam LeCure, a very positive story about the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah. What was it? Maybe 2 years ago. By the third base side of the stadium, I go to the bathroom as one does from time to time. I do my business. I'm on my way out. And who do I see as soon as I open the door? We had a bit of a Midwestern ope moment. Sam LeCure, he's walking in the bathroom, and we lock eyes. And very similar to the face that he made Ben, a very like almost surprised, wide-eyed kind of expression.
Yeah.
He just, we look at each other and he says, "Excuse me," very politely, very politely.
Yeah.
And a little shocked, and then we just, go our separate ways. Yeah.
Didn't you say his hands were soaked or something like that?
His hands were. I mean, I can't tell what it was. They were dripping with something. Now, I don't know if this was a beverage. I don't know if it was sweat. I don't really know what it was, but I'm glad that he could go to the bathroom to clean off whatever it was that was on there.
Nothing.
For our podcast.
Yeah, he's gonna go out and publicly shame us. One bathroom story will never beat that. One bathroom story will never be beaten, and that's Ben's bathroom story where he's signing legally binding documents at Citi Field for some like low-level employee. Ben, walk us through that. Walk us through that whole thing real quick.
Oh God! All right, so 2 years ago,
2021.
Was it 2021?
It was COVID was still out there, but it was maybe there was a bit of resurgence. We were wearing masks in the subways. That was still mandatory to do that. But at the game it was not.
Oh, so wait. So that was the same trip that was the same weekend that we went to Boston, was it not?
We were, yes, it was.
The day before.
Because we went to a Mets game, a doubleheader, and then we went to Boston the next day to see the Red Sox versus Yankees, right?
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm. So
walk us through the Citi Field experience that you had in the bathroom. Citi Field, New York City.
Yeah,
Queens.
so I'm heading to the bathroom as one does, and as I'm zipping up and about to wash my hands, I am approached by an older gentleman with the thickest Brooklyn, New York accent you've ever heard. You know, that stereotypical
Mhm.
Brooklyn accent. And
Brooklyn from Call of Duty had the same kind of accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes up to me, taps me on the shoulder, and he has his phone out and he pulls his glasses down and he goes, "Hey, sir, can you help me sign these documents for me? I'm supposed to get some money." And apparently he was signing. He had to sign a document on his phone for his friend to like give him like $5,000, and he couldn't read it, and he needed somebody who could read it to sign it for him. So he gives me his phone, and I ask him what his name is so I can sign it for him. I forget what his name was, but anyways, he tells me the name, so I finger sign it on the phone and hand it back to him. And he says thank you, and we part ways.
So this is after you just went to the bathroom, is that right?
I was
before?
I was like at the urinal when he approached me, pretty much. I was like, I had zipped up, but I was like about to like turn away, and he like tapped me on the shoulder.
So we're dealing with unwashed hands on another man's phone.
Yes, but I did wash
It's-
my hands after I handled his phone because I hadn't made it to the sink yet.
And he worked for the Mets. Feasibly, he was somebody who was like behind the counter or like working
he?
the hot dog stand. Didn't you say he worked for the Mets, or was it
I
just a
don't
random guy?
remember.
I thought he had.
fan.
I thought you said he had like a name tag on and stuff.
He may have. This was what, 4 years ago now.
Yeah, it was
I
a while ago.
can't recall.
Okay.
But it was an experience.
Legally binding documents signed in the bathroom at Citi Field.
I don't know if that was legal for me to do, but I did it. I hope he got his money.
It's definitely not legal, but it's fine.
The memory I have of this was that, I mean, your story was pretty short. This did not take just like a minute of your time. I
There
felt
was
like we were
fumbling
waiting
around.
around for a
Mhm.
lot. I think there's a
You
lot
guys,
of
yeah, you guys were in the
confusion.
bathroom too with me. Like we all went in.
I was outside waiting for you guys. You guys had
Okay.
both went in. Mitch comes out. I'm like, "Where's Ben?" And he gives me like the shortened version of this because I don't think he knew what was going on. He's like, "Ben's signing some document," or he's like helping some guy on his phone. There was a lot of confusion, and it lasted for a long time.
It did. It did feel like it
Wow, maybe
lasted
it
for
was
a while.
quicker. Maybe I just processed it a little bit quicker.
From
It
what I
felt like
understand, there
I
was
just
like
took
confusion. Like there was a lot of back and forth. You were trying to understand. It was like
it might have been like that. Yeah, like I said, my memory's foggy.
that's
It was
hilarious.
funny though.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Well,
where else but at the ballpark, where these
mhm,
stories happen. Some
mhm,
friends are made in Ben's case, and in other
yeah.
cases, like today, some enemies are made.
Some
But
enemies. Yeah.
it's it's unlike anything else. So thank you for letting us talk about our experience at the ballpark today and bringing up some old memories. It's been great.
Well, I mean, for me, it reminded me how Jim Day's on my shit list for not waving at me when I was on the third base line at Citi Field.
That's
When I was perfectly in earshot, and I was just giving him praise. I was like, Jim Day, I love you, Jim Day. It just didn't even look towards me, to be fair.
Yeah, like
Um,
what's the deal with that? These guys think they're what, celebrities? Like you work for the Reds.
once you get on a small
Wake
market
up.
team, you kind of just look at everybody else as like, sort of below you. Small market, medium franchise that's underperforming. You kind of just have a little bit of chip on your shoulder.
Well,
But
yeah.
no, I was just gonna say one guy I love to death, and it's actually his birthday today. They showed on the jumbotron is Barry Larkin.
Happy
great-
happy birthday, Barry Larkin.
Yeah, so we'll shout out to Barry.
Okay.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
I did meet him. I met him when I went to some like shop in Hyde Park, like when it was All-Star weekend in Cincinnati. and he was doing like a meet and greet. And I just happened to be walking by.
Wow. I would love
Yeah,
to meet
he's a
him.
good guy.
He seems cool. He seems like a actually down to earth type of dude. I would love to
Yeah.
meet him and Sean Casey.
Sean
Yeah.
Casey. Everybody loves Sean Casey.
Yeah, I had a friend. I had some guy that worked at my old company that he went to dinner with Sean Casey and some other guys who were in baseball, I guess. And I was like, "What? Like you like hung out with Sean Casey?" And he was like, "Yeah." And like he's a cool guy. We talked about like football, whatever. And I was like, "Dude, I'm so jealous. I got a little ball from him when I was a kid." And I was
You have a bat too. You have a signed bat.
signed bat, signed ball, signed baseball card, a couple signed baseball cards. I wrote a story, and Ben, you know this story. I wrote a
Oh, I do
story.
remember this.
Yeah, it was in like fourth grade or third or fourth grade, where we were prompted to write a story, a fairy tale story, and like change some elements to make it like sort of unique. So, for example, let's just give an example out. Like if it was like Snow White, you might change it to like I don't know, Snow White and the I don't know, some modern spin on a story. Snow White and the
7
8
Supreme Court justices.
Thank you for filling that in. Thank you. So I wrote a story about Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but instead of Goldilocks and Three Bears, it was Sean Casey and the Three Bears. And so I don't really understand where this story went or how it went. I don't really remember. But my English teacher at the time, she knew Dr. Kremchek, who worked for the team. And she was like, this kid in my class wrote this story about Sean Casey, a Cincinnati Reds player who's currently played for the Reds. And so she got the story to Dr. Kremchek. And then I guess as the story goes, Dr. Kremchek gave the story off to Sean Casey, who I guess read Sean Casey and the Three Bears, and then took one of his home run balls that he got from Great American Ballpark. I think it was one of his first home runs at Great American Ballpark. And he signed it. He said, that's a great story. And there was like a little message on it. And then he signed his name. And then I came to school, I think like a week later, and my teacher was like, hey, we want you to read the story in front of the whole class. So I read this Sean Casey and the Three Bears story in front of the whole class. And I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to do it. I kept saying no. And so I sat on this little stool, read the whole story. And at the end, she produced this ball that Sean Casey had written on and signed and everything. And it has a little like imprint where you could see his bat hit the ball, like a solid like contact.
Yeah.
And then she like gave it to me in front of the whole class, and it was pretty sweet. And I still have it to this day.
That's so cool.
Wow. I
Yeah, it was
never knew
fun.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had it in a Bionicle case for like probably 10 years.
Dude, I still think I have somewhere a baseball in a Bionicle case. I'm trying like Jeremy Burnett's or something like that.
Oh, that sounds so familiar.
I think it was a Mets game, Reds Mets, I want to say, and it's just a foul ball, and my dad just
Yeah.
barehanded this ball perfectly in his mitt, and he just leaned back over, handed me the ball, and said, "Here you go, son. Here's
That's
this baseball."
awesome.
And the whole game, I'm like making sure I remember who this is. I'm saying it over and over in my mind. I have like no other information about him other than I
Wow.
think he played for the Mets. I don't know.
Jeremy, his name is Jeromy,
Jeromy.
Jeromy, which is a very weird spelling of Jeremy. He did play for the Mets. Okay, so this must have been, does 2003 sound right? Or 2002?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so he had a long career with Milwaukee. And by long career, I mean 5 years. And then he was a Met for his rookie year. He went to Cleveland. He went to Milwaukee for 4 or 5 years. He went to the Mets and then Colorado. Journeyman guy, 20 WAR basically. Okay. Career OPS was 826. It's pretty good.
Very nice.
315 home runs. That's
Man.
crazy, actually. All right,
Have
it was
to
a
find
decent
that ball.
decent player.
Wait, in 5 years he hit 315 home runs.
No. He had a long career. He played 14 years.
5
You
years
said
with
5
the
years.
with the Brewers.
5 years with the
Oh,
Brewers.
okay.
That's cool. Wow. I kind of recognize this guy. I feel like, I mean, we must have seen him play a lot because, I mean, he was on the Brewers, but I mean, that was in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I wasn't really even cognizant, really. So, oh, he was an all-star, MVP 19. MVP 19 is funny to say. MVP 29. Anyway, that's cool. I never caught a foul ball. Your dad is effortlessly cool in that regard. That's pretty sweet.
And athletic, yeah. I have
He is
yet to catch
athletic.
a
He's very
ball.
athletic. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. The only ball I've ever got was a Redzilla ball. So hopefully someday that changes.
That's
Yeah.
why you hold him in
Yeah,
such high
hopefully.
regard, because it's the only time you got a baseball from a game.
Yeah. Maybe someday I'll get another one. I'm always ready. I'm gonna barehand it. I'm not gonna bring a glove anymore. Obviously, I feel like you grow out of
You're
that.
like past the age of 13 and you still bring a glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nah.
agree.
No,
Nah.
there are certain people who do that.
What do you guys think of that guy who like catches all those home runs?
We saw him today.
Oh yeah,
No,
of
you
course.
didn't see him today.
Yes, we did. The
Are you
Reds
talking
one.
about? No, there's a more notorious person who
Yeah, what's
goes
his
and
name?
yes,
I don't even know his name.
yeah. Now there is a guy that Mitch
Zach
is.
Hampel.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Zach
No,
Hampel.
Fuck
but
him.
I could not pick him out of a lineup, but
But my question is, like, what do you think about him? Catches all those balls, goes to all these games. He says he has like over like thousands of different baseballs or something like that.
I mean, I think
annoying.
eventually it kind of loses its luster unless you catch a meaningful ball, whether it's a first home run or a
Like
game
the Shohei
winner.
ball.
Yeah. But I mean, most balls are not worth anything.
He's claimed to have caught 12,000 balls, and I haven't gotten one.
I mean,
Well, he doesn't
I mean-
catch them. He just goes before, like, when batting practice is going on, and just like, I've seen his videos. He like wears like a jersey of like the opponent, the away team, so that he can like kind of mingle with them, and then they can like give him toss-up balls, and I guess that counts as like a ball that he's caught.
Okay.
So it's not like he's gotten 12,000 foul balls or home run balls combined.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
You can get like 10 balls a game if he just gets throw balls from like people on the field and like trainers and stuff like that.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I got a couple balls from batting practice that I just ran through the stands and picked up off the ground. Like I think one of them might have been I think it was what's that guy's name? Syndergaard. He was doing batting practice. It was before they switched over to the DH. And so
nice.
he hit a ball into the left field bleachers at Citi Field, and it was during the batting practice. And I just went over and grabbed the ball, and that was my only. I think it's right here actually.
I think the practice itself is fairly inoffensive for the most part, but if you're just like taking balls that have more meaning to someone who's just going to one of their first games or they're young and they want a ball and you're taking that away from them, I mean, come on, you're an adult. It's a baseball. If it's just a foul ball or something, or it's a ball from batting practice or whatever, just dude, chill out. I mean,
You're a grown man.
if you want to hunt for a ball from a certain player, if it's like you're waiting for that first home run, me and Ben were at the game where Ellie hit his first home run. If you want to try to hunt for that ball and catch it, by all means, go for it. But I mean, if you're just trying to steal foul balls and batting practice balls, like, come on, that's enough.
This actually designates. I don't know if you know this, but the balls actually designate themselves. Somebody stamps practice on them, so you know it's not a game ball.
Oh.
I got one of those in at Wrigley a couple years ago when the Reds were playing the Cubs.
It was Amir Garrett, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was like on the
Yeah.
third base, like outfield wall with a whole line of like other Cub fans. And I was the only Reds guy that was obviously wearing a Reds jersey. And he like pointed at me and like threw it. It was like in the moment I was like, I have to catch this. I had to do bare hand because it was like a long throw from like right center field to the right field wall. And it was a perfect throw right to me. Got it. And yeah, still got it somewhere in my room.
That's awesome. What is that guy up to these days?
I don't know.
I have no
Last I
idea.
heard, he was like on the Royals or something, or
Toronto Blue Jays organization.
no. Okay, so
Sad.
you know what? He had a long. If you make it one day in the big leagues, that's an accomplishment. He's played for many years. So good on him, and the best of luck. I love Amir Garrett. He's great.
Best of luck, baby. Best of luck, man. Yep. 8
How do-
years.
8 years.
Mm-hmm. Not a great, honestly, 0.6 WAR, 4.95 ERA.
Amir Garrett had some pretty nasty stuff.
When he gets that
at
slider
some peak
working,
moments, yes.
yeah,
And he had some velocity
Yeah,
with his
he will.
fastball too. I mean, he was a great setup man for sure.
He was. I mean, he had his moments, and then he fought the Pirates, and that was fun too.
Yeah, man. Eccentric
Anyway.
character.
Oh yeah. I guess we should talk about the Reds a little bit, right?
Yeah.
A little.
I mean, we've been burning the clock here, just bullshitting, which is fun.
Burning
which
the
is-
midnight oil. I mean, hey, we're reminiscing about baseball. Everyone has those moments.
It's a baseball show, we talk about baseball.
Yeah, what do you want us to do?
The one thing I want to talk about, the one thing that I really wanted to talk about was the productivity of the free agents we signed this last offseason, just to get into it. But I also wanted to talk more about the Luis Castillo trade, because are we starting to see the Luis Castillo trade pay dividends finally after all these years? Are we finally starting to see the product of Noelvi Marte sort of pan out in this way? It's premature to say, but he's had a great week.
Scorching.
He was on base 3 times tonight. I mean, it's nice to see something from that trade. So it's cool to see
Who else
him.
did we get for Castillo? Was it just Marte?
It was Marte, and then there was another shortstop. I can't remember.
Is it Arroyo?
Arroyo, thank you.
What is it? Him?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think that's a great trade because he's our number 1 prospect right now.
Yeah, he's up there. He's got to be top 3. I don't know if he's number 1, but he's up there.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for Arroyo, and then obviously Marte's been. It took him some time. I'll be honest. I told John today I had lost hope after last year, but
I wrote him off too. I mean, one of our shows we did, I wrote him off completely. I was like, we've seen enough. He's finished. But maybe we're starting to see him kind of get into his career, because he really shot himself in the foot with the PED thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's finally starting to turn a corner. But it's too early to say. But I mean, it's nice to see him be productive and him come to bat and be one of the hottest hitters on the team this past week.
Yeah.
Good thing we're not GMs or scouts.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think if you're a Mariners fan, you're probably pretty happy right now with having Castillo on your team.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's been like an opening day starter for them. He was an all-star his first full season with Seattle. I think if you're them, you want that kind of like ace figure in your rotation, and I think he's mostly provided that. I'm looking at his stats. 11 and 12 last year in the wins and loss. but every year he's been like hovering around 3.3, 3.6 ERA. I don't think he is necessarily always a lights out guy, but I think I mean, I would love to have Castillo in this lineup. I think you'd be an idiot to say that you wouldn't want this guy
Yeah,
pitching for you. I
he
think
could replace Martinez tomorrow.
he would be, he would be at least a 2 or 3 on most teams' rotations, if not one. Uh, that being said, it's really exciting to see Noelvi start to heat up because we don't need a power guy all the time. I want a guy who gets on base, and he seems like he's making really great contact with the ball. And he seems like he's patient at the plate. He seems like he's maybe matured a lot in the short time that he's been with the Reds organization. Outside the PED stuff that really stunted his growth here with the Reds. To Ben's point, and yeah, it just seemed like we got another guy in the wings who could be, who knows, maybe a really great addition to this team. Time will tell. Uh, if we get mostly 2 hits on this trade, that's a win. We're starting to see one guy potentially turn into that one hit. So right now, if I had to say right now who won the trade, I'd say the Mariners. But
Mhm.
let's wait 3,
Mhm.
4 years.
Mhm.
That could be a very different story.
Yeah, and I think it was always going to be immediately you're going to say the Mariners are going to benefit from this. Like that was the Reds. That's the Reds mode at that time, rebuilding. So it's like the Mariners were always going to get an instant product out of Luis Castillo, and this was always going to be a bit of a project for the Reds. But lately, it was seeming like Noelvi Marte might be a guy that just sort of falls through the cracks and kind of disappears. But now he's earning the trust of Francona, and maybe we'll see him in the lineup more often. And the interview with Jim Day today said he did an interview and he was saying that he was swinging the bat harder, just trying to make hard contact. And so maybe he's going to be foundation of this lineup for the rest of the year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's still
What-
so early. It's hard to say, but
Wasn't he swinging like 84th percentile in bat speed, Ben, on the scoreboard? There's a new scoreboard,
Oh
Mitch.
God.
But it was like he was what sabermetrics or whatever. It was in the red. Like he's in the upper like
Hmm.
over 80th percentile.
Upper echelon.
Yeah, in bat speed.
Oh, that's good.
And I mean, if this is because Candelario is shitting the bed and we need someone at third base, and maybe that was a push to get Marte in the lineup more often. I love Candelario then. I
I
love that
mean,
he's kind of forcing our hand here to put this young guy at the hot corner because it's working out right now.
if anything, it shows. I love Terry's willingness to just say, "Look, this isn't happening." He's not doing the Scott Shedler thing where it's drawn out for months at a time. He's saying this is not working with Candelario. Put him down, sit him down. We need to win ball games. We need to have the most productive people in the lineup at every day. We're not here to boost your ego. We're not here to raise your confidence. I mean, raise your confidence is one thing, but boost your ego and put you in the lineup every day when it's not working. I think Tito is saying no to that. And I think that we're seeing some guys that we thought might be done with the Reds get a bigger role and a bigger chance. And for now, I mean, it seems like Tito trusts him to be in the lineup, and I can totally respect that after Candelario's productivity.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Ben, what was that tweet that we both saw about Terry Francona and his comment?
I think he met with Candelario today or yesterday and kind of discussed his role on the team. Not sure what was said. Like I said, probably just told him to keep the seat warm on the bench. But
I mean, At this point, what can you say? I mean, like we talked about this a little bit. You're going to lose your whole investment if you drop him and you cut him or DFA him. But I mean, you want him. I mean, I saw him in the Nationals. I mean, I kind of remember watching those Nationals teams, and I remember Candelario being kind of a you know kind of rising star, decent sort of. That was when the Nationals were in their first rebuild after the World Series, and it seemed like they were kind of putting the pieces together, and that didn't really come to fruition. But now they're doing it again. But Candelario was a part of that first rebuild with the Nationals, and it kind of seemed like he was one of those promising young guys that could make an impact. So it's kind of sad to see him at 25 or whatever he is, just look completely lost.
No,
And I
he's
don't
not
think
25, right?
I think he is.
Candelario?
Yeah,
Marte is 25.
is he 25?
Candelario has to be in his 30s.
Oh, Candelario's 31. I'm so wrong on that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
We got
I-
fact checkers. You're good.
Yeah. I think we talked about this in the previous episode about what to do with him, and so I won't dwell on it for too long.
No, we don't need to.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, I rather see him not in the lineup. I don't care if it's money down the drain. I think it is either way. He's untradeable right now unless someone's willing to take a risk, and we're gonna get very little return on that.
And pay that salary.
Yeah, I mean
Not
it's
happening.
like it's a lose-lose. So I say like keep him on the bench. You know, he can spot check. If someone needs an off day, you slap him in there. But I
Double
mean,
header.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it sucks to have a guy kind of like on your team that you don't know what to do with.
I think this is maybe the calling card of what we're going to see from Tito moving forward as manager. We're going to see more decisive moments like this, where with Brian Price and then David Bell, we, for whatever reason, maybe just lack of resources, we were just seeing some of these guys come in every day and play games. You know who we didn't see tonight that I thought we might see tonight? Alexis Diaz. But he didn't make an appearance. I feel like it could have been a nice little win for him to come out in the ninth. I wouldn't wish for it, but I think that in the past, I'm just conditioned to see the manager give the ball to somebody who's struggling and give them the confidence. But it seems like Tito's not leaving that up to chance, especially against a division rival with a 4-game win streak coming home.
And a 2-run lead, too.
And a 2-run lead. He's not leaving it up to chance. And I think that in the past, we've seen that. So this is, I think, a calling card of Terry Francona to say, we are here to win games. And if the personnel isn't right, then they're not going to come out for that day, that game.
Mhm.
The next test is going to be what happens when Tyler Stevenson gets healthy.
I'm curious.
With Jose Trevino, he's been fantastic. One of the best hitting catchers in the game right now. I hope that Stevenson has to earn his place.
He's earned it.
I mean, he's earned being on the team, but is he?
No, he's the starting catcher.
I mean, if you have one guy who's more productive
I don't
than
care.
another,
He hit like 260 last year. I don't have his exact stats up, but he had a tremendous year offensively and defensively. I think he calls a really good game. I don't think he comes back, he's the starting catcher.
Well, it's one of those positions where you're going to have to switch it out every other day anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so he'll start 80% of the game, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't remember Stevenson being a great defensive player when it comes to catching. I don't remember him being like an especially good framing catcher.
That was his biggest criticism. Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's leave that out of the equation and just talk about like production behind the plate, batting. I guess it is. But if Trevino stays hot, I don't want to see him taken out just because Stevenson was the guy necessarily. I would love to see a little bit of the heat on Stevenson to like, hey, you're back. Yeah, we're gonna play you, of course, but earn your role again. If Trevino was struggling, then yes, Stevenson would be that number one catcher again, probably no matter what. But we're not seeing that. And I want to see guys who are hitting continue to hit and continue to get more playing time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not an earned thing. I mean, it is an earned thing, and in baseball you should have a short memory. And that goes with managers too.
I think that we're gonna maybe see a slow rollout when Tyler Stevenson gets healthy and kind of can be able to he can get games again. Like we're not gonna see him catch a full game necessarily, but I think that he is still going to be a staple of the lineup, like Ben is saying, and especially as what we know about Trevino and his career and catchers in general. This is going to be a short-lived streak for Trevino. He's not going to be hitting like this every week. And if he is, holy shit, give him the batting title right now. But I mean, I think that Stevenson is still a core piece of this team. But what you might see is a little bit more rotation from Tito. Maybe you'll see Trevino out there half the time or like a third of the time, and then Stevenson out there 2/3 of the time. I don't know. But I think that the point is Tito is going to play the best people on any given day. That's his mentality, I think, as manager. It doesn't mean he's going to put Stevenson in a corner somewhere because it's not like Alexis Diaz where we've seen Stevenson struggle. Stevenson is like a good catcher, a good hitting catcher. It's not going to be like Candelario or Alexis Diaz. I think there's a lot more hope and a lot more things to get excited about for Tyler Stevenson.
I would love to see if one of them can fit into a DH role if they continue to be productive. Because we have a couple of weak spots in the lineup right now. If you're talking about like a Candelario or a Dunn,
A Dunn.
a Dunn. I can't remember his first name. It was Austin Dunn, Blake Dunn.
Like,
One of those guys. I think you could maybe, or Steer still struggling a little bit. Over the course of this past week, we have seen him do a little bit better once he got in the field playing first base. We didn't see that tonight, unfortunately. But I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that he will come back and be productive as a hitter. But I'd love to have more options.
Yeah, it's
More
nice to
guys
have
they can pull off the
options.
bench. Yeah.
And Stevenson's played first base too, so you might
Mhm.
even see him in that first base role from time to time. Like let's say he's not catching one day, he's playing first base, and then Trevino's catching, and
Yeah.
then next day Tyler Stevenson is catching and Trevino is sitting, and then we got Steer at first base. So there is a lot of things you can do, and Steer will eventually find it. McLean, I think, will find it too. Everything we say goes back to it's still early, but we have pieces right now that are starting to jive, starting to work. I think this is probably our best offensive stretch all year. I'm confident that's our best offensive stretch all year for the 5 wins we have. We're producing runs. We put the 24 runs up that one day. The Mets crushed the Nationals today, by the way. There's a lot of
Nice.
blowouts this
Yeah,
year. I don't know.
19-5.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Ben?
19-5, yeah.
19-5 final score. Yeah, it's there is something to this. I
Juan
feel like there
Soto
is.
found his swing. Was that right, John?
Juan Soto found his swing like 2 weeks ago. So
Who said that?
Juan Soto.
Okay.
He said the season started 2 weeks ago because he found his swing. So,
I
for what
don't.
that's worth,
I want to say.
Mets are playing well.
I want to say something real quick about Juan Soto. I think he's one of the best baseball players that we'll probably ever have the joy to watch. But I think that there's this ego with him that I just don't like, and I hate the Soto shuffle. Call me a hater.
You know what? I'll say I
You
hate the
just
Soto
hate
shuffle in the show. Playing MLB The Show,
Yeah, and the
and
show
every
is
ball is the Soto shuffle every time. That's
yeah,
not what he
because the
does.
developers were too lazy to change it.
Of course, yeah.
But we're not discussing that.
No.
How do you not like the Soto shuffle? It's the mind game between Soto and the pitcher. It's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, but I've seen it. I think I've seen it against the Reds, and I hate it.
I think that means he's doing his job.
Yeah, for
he's
sure. As an
getting
opponent, he is
exactly
doing
what
his
you
job.
want.
He's doing
If
what
he's
you want him to
pissing the
do.
pitcher off, he's doing an even better job.
And I should
It's
like
like-
him more because he signed with the Mets instead of the Yankees.
It's like when Votto, I'm sure you guys have seen that at bat where
When
he
he stays in the batter's box.
doesn't move. That probably pissed the pitcher off, and he's just like,
Mhm.
"Why is this guy? That's not how you're supposed to play.
Yeah.
Not how you're supposed to stand in the box.
And how did that result?
You gotta walk. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, this is so unorthodox." Like, just
All right,
messes
you're right.
whatever you
You're
got
right.
there.
I don't need to hate on it. You're right, but whatever. He's a good. He's an amazing baseball player. I'll put it at that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had one last topic I wanted to talk about before we
Sign off.
in the show tonight, and that is we are a game behind first place Cubs and in the NLC. I'm wondering when we are expecting these standings to sort of cement themselves. We're starting to see the Pirates fall into fifth place, kind of like where we would expect them to. Um, Cardinals are around, they're more middling, and then we got the Brewers, Reds, and Cubs. So I'm wondering, like, should we expect to see a fight for first place? Is this going to be a pretty competitive division? Hopefully between the Reds and maybe the Cubs. Um, if like let's say the standings what they are right now, would you expect them to change very much at the end of the season? I'm not saying like it's going to change throughout the season, but
Okay.
does it look like once all 162 games are played, you're like, yep, this is kind of what we saw earlier. The
Well,
writing was on the wall.
we made our predictions, right? Do you have them written down? Because I think we
Yeah,
predicted the order, and I'm
We-
pretty sure I had the Cubs winning the division. I think I had the Reds either in second or third with the Brewers.
You had them in second. I had them in third.
I had the Reds in 2nd.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think me and John had the Reds in third, and you had them in second.
And obviously Pirate. I think I had the Cup. I think I had it literally what it is right now at the end of the season. Probably not going to happen. We're a long ways from then, but I'm going to go and say no, it doesn't change. Stick with my guns.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the Cardinals look. I mean, honestly. I mean, the Cardinals look bad. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. I mean, I know that I said that last year. I didn't think they were going to be that bad.
I'm not judging teams entirely yet.
No,
It's
as you
still
should.
April.
But winning 2 games on the road so far in the season is crazy to me. If you can't win on the road, I mean, good luck, man. I mean, that looks really bad if you're a Cardinals fan.
2-12 away. Damn.
Unbelievable, really.
That's good
Well, sure.
for us.
For us. Yeah.
Looking at the whole standings across baseball, there's not a ton of teams that are just pulling away besides the Mets, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody in the NL West. That whole division, the
No,
top 3 teams are going to be battling.
That is a fun thing to watch. San Diego will probably fall short like they usually do, but the Dodgers and Giants, we said the Giants were going to be good this year, and they are good. They look good.
Dodgers will pull away. I think the Giants are not. They're not going to hold up like that.
I mean, I don't think so either, because like the Dodgers have the depth and the stopping power that we all expect them to have, and over the whole season, yeah, they just lost Tyler Glass now for 15-day IL. It looks like,
so he'll miss 3 starts,
probably something like that. He's on my fantasy team, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I mean, I think the division will change. I would be surprised to see the Brewers stay below 500. And they're only a game below 500 right now. The Cardinals, they should get a little bit better, I think. I don't think the Pirates are as bad as they are right now, to be completely honest with you. I don't think they're going to be great, but I don't think they're as bad as their record says right now. And I think the Cubs, their lineup is scary, but we have the starting pitching currently. So I think it's going to do a lot of flipping and flopping. I think we'll see a lot of changes from here until the All-Star break even.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think it's gonna be pretty competitive. Here's hoping that the Reds don't have another losing skin like they did earlier this season. It's gonna be really interesting how we play the Cubs. That first series is going to potentially be
Mm.
telling on how we handle the best our division has.